Hi guys, it's Darren, Dizzy Stitcher. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do a stitch with me and we're going to be working on London. So currently I'm working in this area around here. So this is where we're up to at the moment. So grab your stitching and a beverage of your choice and we'll do some stitching and some talking. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what we're doing. So as you've noticed, I haven't actually got this on my frame because I couldn't get the camera to stay anywhere. So I'm using the frame to hold my camera and we're going back to the old style of stitching on my knee. So again, I'll just show you, I do apologise for if I knock the camera, how I start my pieces. So I go down in one spot there, pull it till it's nearly through, go back down, pull it through a little bit, pull it up, and then pull your straggly bit through. Don't pull it all the way through. Then complete your X. You see it? And then you can just scrape the back of your piece and that pulls that straggler through. So that's how we do that. So hopefully you can see this all okay. I'll say it should be alright. It's on black Aida. So what I'm going to do, I do apologise, I'm going to shake you a little bit. I'm just going to raise this up a little bit more because my hand keeps catching the camera. And it still catches the camera, so I do apologise. There we go. So I hope everybody is well and safe wherever you are, and you're not being too affected by everything that's going off. Now over here in Queensland, we're doing really well with regards to keeping the numbers down with regards to the coronavirus. So we've had no new cases of it in 5 days. Would have been longer, but we had some, let's just call them silly people, for the sakes of being polite, who decided when there was an outbreak started in Victoria that they were going to go down there because the new Victoria was going to get locked down. They decided to go over there to do a crime spree and go robbing people. So they then managed to, well, they lied on their declaration that they have to, when they come back into Queensland, to say that they've never been there. So they lied on their declaration, and there was, I think it was 3 of them altogether, or youngsters in the, I think they're late teens, early 20s. So they ended up having the virus. So they then knew they had the virus, but still decided to go out shopping and to cafes. So yes, so we've done lucky. I mean, that was over a week ago now. So far we've managed to avoid any further infestation. Infestation, it sounds like animals. So yeah, so we've had no more new cases from here. Just 2 seconds. I'm going to move the arm that I keep catching. That's better, it's out the way now. So yeah, so we're doing pretty good. Obviously, Victoria and Melbourne over here are not having it so good. So Victoria, I believe it's Victoria anyway, has now gone into stage 4 lockdown. So, which is basically everywhere except essential services is shut. So the only things that are allowed open is food places, post office for some reason, your grocery stores, pharmacies, doctors. Everything else is shut. They also have a curfew over there as well. So from 8 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody is allowed out the house. So all this, I think, panned from, they did a protest. As I'm sure a lot of you know, there's loads of protests going off at the moment. So they did a protest and there was somebody there who had the coronavirus. There was about 5,000 people at this protest. And it all went from there. So they were planning on having another protest as well. Earlier on this week, I think it was, or last weekend. And it's like the government then decided, nah, we're going to shut that one down. So they banned all kind of protests. Anyone caught doing that were fined and arrested. So they decided not to do it, which is quite good, really, because like I said, the last thing you want is another epidemic everywhere. Like I said, I know some places are still getting hit pretty bad by it, and some are not. So in Queensland, we've been quite lucky, to be fair. We've never had that many cases. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot when I say that the people in Victoria and that are getting like 700 and something cases a day. It's not a lot when you consider like people in like places like America having like 10,000 cases a day. So, but for Australia, that is a lot of cases for us. Obviously, we're not as populated as most of the other countries, which is quite surprising to say we're one of the biggest countries out there with the smallest populations. So, but anyway, that's enough said on that subject. We're not going to go down that route. So, the new Lowry stand that I've got is working absolutely perfect, except obviously when I want to do a stitch with me. So I can't recommend that highly enough to anybody. So if you are looking for a stand, then I would go with one of those. Like I say, I've had no problems with mine. The only problem I did have in mine was with my supersized Tiger of the Heavens, where for some reason it seemed to be too heavy. So I'd get it put in and then it would like fall down on the right hand side. As I say, I don't know if it's because I didn't have it tightened up enough, or if it is just because of the amount of fabric, or the fact that I am using a cheaper version of the Q snap. So and we will get that one sorted out. So that, I can't wait to get that sorted out properly, because obviously with that being, don't like that stitch, let me tell you that. Obviously with that being one of my heids, and it's my biggest project so far, me being the supersized one. I want to get some work done on there. It seems to go a bit quicker using the frame than what it would do not using it. And if any of you have watched my latest update video, you'll see with the amount of work that I got done on my Mini Deer Creek. So that went really fast, and using the frame, because it was easier, I didn't have to keep catching the Q snap if it slid off my knee. So, excuse me a second. Sorry about that. The two boy cats were fighting on the settee. So yeah, so I'm going to say all is good with the Lowry stand. I'm going to say I can't rate it high enough. It's absolutely perfect. Well, it is for me anyway. I don't have the scroll frames, so all mine is either Q-snaps or hoops. So it's ideal for me. Fits everything in that I need. if at some point I can afford to buy some scroll frames, and I may purchase some of those, and then it will mean I'll have to probably buy the extender for the Lowry stand as well, so that I can actually fit the scroll frames in there. But I think that's going to be a while off yet. So the new car as well is also going awesome. So my stitching on the other end is not. I keep putting it in the wrong hole. Yeah, the new car is still running absolutely fine. I might get a full week's worth of running to and from work and everywhere else we need to go on one tank. So that is perfect for us, whereas the last car, that one, you used to have to fill it up like twice a week. So this one's saving money that way. And again, we've had a couple of warm days over here, not a lot yet. I would say we are still in winter, but we've had a couple of warm days, so the aircon in the car comes in very handy indeed. And with it having tinted windows now as well, that means that the car doesn't get very hot inside, which is absolutely fantastic, because there's nothing worse than getting in a car on a red hot day and sweating, waiting for it to cool down. So work is steady. So as you're aware, I work in a timber yard. Not my ideal job, but it's a job. And in this day and age, you get what you can take. So died down a bit towards the end of the month, but it generally does anyway, because over here a lot of people don't like to order stuff in towards the end of the month because they know they have to pay for it by the end of the month. So it kind of slows down a little bit, and then as soon as like the first of the month comes, it ramps off again. So we've got a fair few big orders in. So I was expecting to have to work overtime this week. So generally I work, I'll tell you, I can't stitch today. Generally I work Monday to Friday. And if they do require us to work overtime, then that is always on a Saturday. So I was expecting to work this Saturday because we had a fair bit of timber coming, but they didn't need us. Most of this timber is just going straight back out again, so they brought it in just to send it back out. So, but I have a funny feeling that they'll be wanting us to work nearly every single Saturday soon, because as you know, we're getting closer to December, and generally a lot of like building firms and that order all their materials in so they have them ready for the start of the next season, because most places over here close down at Christmas time, because that's obviously the peak of our summer. So it's like we get 3 weeks off work at Christmas, and so do a lot of other places. So no, I can't see where I'm going. There we go. So yeah, so once it gets near to Christmas, then there'll be overtime galore, trying to get all the orders fulfilled so they can get shipped out for the people who need them. So. Now, when I was deciding whether or not to stitch on this one, and I was like, I've never done this one before on a stitch with me or anything, so I thought, why not? But then it was like, what colours will show up on here? So originally I was going to do one section but I don't know if you can see on here. These dark ones was the colour that I actually pulled. And it's like, yeah, no one's really going to be able to see anything on there if I do that one. So I thought, well, we'll not bother with that one. We'll do a completely different colour instead. So that's why I'm doing this light colour, so that I know that you can at least see what's going off. And the only thing with working on the black aida is if you've not got good light, seeing where you're going can be a bit tricky. Now I know normally when I'm working on the black aida, I have my light box underneath it if it's not a very clear day, for example. So I'll have my light box underneath it so that I can see the stitches properly, well, the holes properly for stitching through. If I've got it on the frame, it's good because you can see straight through it anyway. So what I will do is I'll just so that you can see the difference for those people who are wondering what it's like with the light box, I'll get my light box and just put it underneath so that you can actually see how the difference is between now and what it is with the light. So give me just 2 seconds. Okay, right, so I've got my light box. So if you haven't seen the light box before, it's basically, zoom out a bit, this. So it's just a little thin box that plugs in and then lights up. So as you can see from here, you can't really see the holes, and then you switch it on. Obviously it shows up a lot brighter. Now this has 3 settings, so I do apologise if I blind you a little bit. So now we've got that one. It says, and it goes to there, and then that's the brightest one. So as you can see, it comes in handy. So turn that off and move that away, just so that I can continue this. So yeah, so if you've ever fancied trying something like that, if you like, depends how often you use black aida. I know a lot of people don't like stitching on the black aida. I don't mind it myself. Then yeah, they do come in handy. So that's something for you to think about there. So let me just get back in view. So I don't want to keep the light box on just in case it dazzles you guys too much while I'm stitching. So yeah, so now obviously you would think that being from the UK, I have been to London many a times, and you would be wrong. I worked down in London for maybe about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when I was at college. I did my placement down there, and that was fun. Where I used to stop, I used to have catch the subway to where I was doing my placement, and boy, you've got to be fast with them. Like I say, well, how mine was, my train used to get in, and I literally had, must have been 40 seconds from when my train pulled in to run across up a flight of stairs, across to another platform, down the stairs and onto the next train. Otherwise I would have to wait, I think it was about another half an hour till the next train turned up that I needed to catch. So yeah, so that was fun. You had to be kept you fit and healthy, that's for sure, from all the running around that you had to do. But while I was there, I never really did much sightseeing. I think I went shopping once. There's a real famous or big named I think it's called Harrods down in London. And I think it's called Hemley's, which is a really, really big toy store. This toy store is on something like 5 levels or something like that. I had to go and visit them, obviously, just because. And I've been to, obviously, see Buckingham Palace. And that's about as far as I went. So, yeah, so I've been, obviously, down where they do all the shows at the theatres. Been down there, been to Madame Tussauds. But other than that, I've not really been anywhere in London. It's a bit too chaotic over there for me. I mean, I don't mind crowds. It's not a problem with the crowds, but when you've got like hundreds and hundreds of people all crammed into one tiny little area, it's like, nah, I'll come back later when it's a bit quieter. Because obviously, when there's that many people there, they're just pushing you around. And in London, a lot of people don't have manners either, I've noticed. So they'll walk into you gladly and not even apologise or anything like that. But I'm not saying everybody does that. You do get a couple of people who are nice, but you do get a lot of people who are quite rude down there. So well, I'm glad I don't drive in London either. You'd see the streets in London, 9 out of 10 they're just like gridlocked, and people just pulling out of nowhere just so that they can get into the flow of traffic, because no one will let you out. So you could be sat at a junction for half an hour waiting to get out onto the main roads. Nobody lets you out. And then they'll look at you funny when you pull out in front of them. And it's like, well, if you don't let me out, I won't need to cut you up. But so yeah, so I've never been to, this is St. Paul's Cathedral, I think it is. So I've never been there. I've driven past London Bridge, never been over it. I've not seen the London Eye at all. So bearing in mind when I worked in London, it was back towards the end of the 90s. So the London Eye hadn't been built yet. It was still in progress, because that was part of it was a Millennium Wheel, as they called it. And it was only going to be there for a year, and then it was going to get taken down. But a lot of people used it, and still do use it to this day, so they decided to keep it up. Unlike the Millennium Dome, which was built on the sole purpose again of only being up for a year, and then it was getting pulled down, or they hoped it was going to be more popular than what it was, but not a lot of people went to it, to be fair. So I don't even think it lasted the full year before they decided to close it, because it was just costing too much money. So they closed it, and then a couple of people have used it for like exhibitions. I think at the moment they're using it for doing concerts as well. I think they've now called it the O2 Arena or something like that. I can't remember. So they do use it every now and then now, but it's not as big as what they hoped it would be. So, alright, let me just count how many stitches I've done. So, I'm going to say, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been over to London, or if you're from London. I don't know if it's changed much since I was there. As I say, it was towards the end of the 90s when I was there. So I'm assuming it will have changed a fair bit. Obviously got a bit busier. So I'll just start with the nice quiet area where I was from over there. We had things to do, and they weren't overly busy. Unless, of course, there was some kind of concert or something on. Then people would come out of the woodwork that you didn't even know lived there. Not a small town where I'm from. There's a fair few decent sized population in there, but you don't realise how many people there are until there's like a free concert or something like that on, and then everybody comes out. So I don't know if you watched my latest update on my whips and stuff like that, but the other morning, Saturday morning, I got woke up to a ginger cat jumping off a wardrobe onto my belly. And to say the wardrobe is about, I'll say the top of the wardrobe is maybe three foot higher than what the bed is. And it was Ginger who decided to jump off. For some reason he likes to sleep up there. I don't know why. So yeah, he decided to jump off. Normally he would just jump down. But he decided to jump on my belly. And then the next morning he did the same again. But this time he decided to jump onto my back. So I wouldn't mind, but it's always around about 3:30 in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning at the latest, he decides to do it. I know he's used to being up at 4:30 because that's what time I get up for work, so he's used to get fed round about then. I'm not 3:30. So yeah, so that's what you call an alarm clock, having a cat jump on you from a great height. It's alright guys, I'm just working out how far down I need to go. And I think I won't do far. I have. And now I can't count because I counted 24 that time and then 21 before. And now 23. I definitely can't count today, so I can't sew today. Can't count today. Things are looking good. 23. One stitch too high. So this stitch with me I was originally going to do last weekend. I did my update video and then got this all ready to go, and then had visitors. As you know, with my visitors, they come over for a coffee and leave hours later. So they were here for a couple of hours. And then they went, and it was getting a bit darker, and I thought, well, this is going to be a bit harder to work on this one, with it being on black. So I thought, well, I'll not do it when I was going to do it, I'll do it the next day. So I started working on my Mini Deer Creek. And I got on a mission to complete that page. So I stitched on that all that day. And the next day, it didn't turn, the weather wasn't as good as it was meant to be. I've stuffed that piece of cotton up. Yeah, the weather wasn't as good as it was meant to be, so it was a bit dull. And it's like, no, it's okay, I can still do a bit of stitching. And then it started raining, and I was like, okay, so the light in here is not going to be very good at all. So it's like, okay, we'll just continue with the Mini Deer Creek. So that's what I did all day. So I went on a proper mission with that one. So that's why I didn't get the stitch with me done like I said I was going to. So moving forward though, I'm hoping to make this a regular thing and do this every week. Obviously not this one piece. So this one, I don't know if you remember, I asked on last week's video if anyone would like to see me do a stitch with me on a specific project. And this was one that was requested. And then I have another one that's been requested as well. So I'm going to do a stitch with me on that one next week. And someone also suggested maybe using the mini Deer Creek as a stitch with me as well, just so I can get some progress done on it. So let me know. I'm going to say now that one is done in tent stitch. So that one goes pretty quick. So I think once you get started on it, you get a fair bit of work done. So let me know if you want to see me do a stitch with me on the mini Deer Creek. Do a stitch with me on that one as well. I'm going to say that one. I'm moving on to the next page now on that one, which is the one with the deers showing in it. So I should be able to get a deer head on there soon. Hopefully. So, which I can't wait to get to, because then it'll make it look like something other than just background of leaves and a waterfall. Well, I'm assuming it's a waterfall in the background. I think it is. So, well, as I say, with that one, I have set myself the challenge of getting that one done before the end of November, so I can get that one shipped over to my brother for Christmas. So I sat and worked it all out, how many stitches I've got left to do, and what I would need to do in order to get that completed before the end of November. So it turns out I need to do 2,800 stitches per week to get that one done by the end of November. So if my figures that I managed last week, if I can manage that again, not every week, but every now and then it should cut the time down that I need to stitch on it. Well, before it's finished. So I should have it finished before the end of November. Maybe even in October. So time will tell on that one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get some good work on those. As long as I don't keep getting interrupted by people, then things will be fine. So, just having a look, see what colour to change out to next. I think you can see this colour. Yeah, it seems to be showing up okay. Yeah. So let's do some more of that one. So I do apologise as well. I've just noticed that the image goes lighter and darker. It's because where I sit, the sun actually comes in through the side doors. So when my hand goes there, it blocks the light out, so the image goes darker again. So that's why. So one good thing with this house where I'm in is you do get good lighting. There are windows and doors everywhere. I think I've mentioned this before, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors into the property, and then every room has its windows as well, so you definitely get a lot of light. So where I generally do my stitching is one of the ideal spots, because you don't get blinded by it, but you know you're going to get good light so people can see what you're doing. So it is a good spot to sit, but it can be annoying at sometimes, especially with all the light coming in. So if you're wanting to watch any kind of telly or anything like that, you've got to shut one curtain, and then a bit later on you have to open that curtain up to shut another curtain so that you can see, because the sun reflects straight onto the TV. There's no way of actually putting the TV so that you can see it without having any glare on there. So let's see, yeah, you can see that. I wasn't sure if you would be able to see that one. This is the colour I was going to do earlier on, but I thought it, well no it's not, this is a bit lighter one, but I thought it might be a bit too dark, so best to go for one of the lighter colours so you can actually see what I'm doing. But obviously you can see what I'm doing. And I think I may have even been able to get away with the darker colour I was originally going to do. Oops, sorry, I keep knocking the camera. I do apologise. So London one, I'm looking forward to getting some progress, good progress done on this one. Like I said, I think I'm not really going to be focusing on it until after I've finished that mini Deer Creek. So it'll get bits of work done to it, but not a great amount of deal in one go. So you'll see it coming to life bit by bit, but not big, really big chunks. Like when I first started, when I got like the whole top part done pretty quickly. So, but you will still see some progress on there. I've still yet to backstitch the top part. I haven't done that yet. And again, I've missed my hole. So, and I haven't taken out the gold on there yet either. That's still on there. So, I mean, two minds whether to rip that one out or just leave that one in and then just use that treasure braid stuff on the next set that I have to use the gold on, or whether just to take it all out so it all matches. So I think to be fair, I'm going to take the gold one out because I'm just looking from what I can see here. I don't know if you can see this, but these stitches here are not looking very neat, and neither of these ones, to be fair. So yeah, I think I might rip these out and then redo them, whether it be with the treasure braid or whether I try the metallic again, give it a second chance. I have a funny feeling about the treasure braid though, to be fair. Mind you, now that I know how to work with the metallics, it might be a bit different. So we will see, because that only calls for, I think it's one strand of metallic, whereas that up there has got 6. So bit of a difference. So I might try it with one and see what it looks like, or I might just go straight for the treasure braid. I know a lot of people have used the treasure braids before, so a lot of them suggested probably that's going to be the best way to go with that one. But I do like with this London piece is you do a bit, and it doesn't look like much from when you're looking at it, but then when you hold it back and take a look at it, then it looks completely different. It's like in these parts here, that's 2 different colours. May not look like it, that's 2 different colours, 2 different shades. And then when you step back and look at it from afar, or when I take a photo of it, you can actually see it looks completely different. I mean, you can see the two different tones and it makes it all stand out. I mean, the top part, this part up here, I mean, on here you can see there's some darker ones and then there's all the different light ones here. Now, up close, it just looks like it's all one colour except for these dark patches because you can see those outright. But again, when you stand back, it then looks like more of a actual building. So you can actually see all the different layers in it. So I know that's how cross stitches are meant to be. You're meant to be able to see different layers from afar and not up close, because I mean when you look at cross stitches, you're not stick your nose right up to them. You know, you're generally a couple of feet away from them when you see them. So it's clever how they work it out, all these designers. I don't think I could ever design one. That would be like a stick man with a big head, and that'd be about it. I'm not the artistic kind of person. I used to enjoy drawing when I was younger, but I wasn't brilliant. Mainly just doodling, really. What like I say, I only used to draw till I was at school, and then I left school, and then I stopped drawing. So maybe if I'd have kept up with it, I might have been able to do stuff like this, but it wasn't for me. I was more into my cooking and learning new dishes. So next week, when I do one of these Stitch With Me's, I do have a tag that I was sent by a viewer. I think it was Sonia, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to do that tag next time as well. So that's just like getting to know more to know about your needle worker or something like that it's called. So I'm going to do that tag. So again, if you've got any questions or any subjects you want to talk about, just drop it down below and we'll work through those like we did on my last one when I answered the questions that had been given. So might as well drop those down as well, and then we can make a full subject matter of things. As I say, I mean, I'm not one for really starting topics to talk on. Once I've got a topic to talk about, I can talk about them quite freely. And if it's something I know a fair bit about, then I'll talk the hind legs off a donkey. But just coming up with a simple subject to talk on, I have to do a lot of thinking about that to find one that I really want to talk about and that I know I'm going to be able to talk about for a while. Because obviously I know you don't have to talk all the way through your Stitch With Me's. You can have your silencers, you don't even have to talk, you can just put music on or whatever. But I know people prefer it when there's some kind of like interaction and just talking, because a lot of people watch the Stitch With Me's because it's like, I think it was Stacey, 911 Stitcher. Or Stitching 911, I forgot what she's called now. She'll kill me for that one. She said it's like having a friend in the room just talking to you. So a lot of people do prefer it when there's talking going in the background. So although they're probably not concentrating on the video itself, excuse me, they'll just be stitching away with you. But it's like having somebody there to talk to, which is always a good thing, I suppose. Now, as I stated, I don't have any stitching friends that I can go around and sit and stitch with. And in fact, until I started Floss Tube, I didn't have any friends that stitched. I've made a couple of friends now. Although it be just through the internet and through Floss Tube, I still have a couple of people that comment on my stuff and send me messages, so I appreciate that. It kind of makes me feel like I've got some stitchy friends, because obviously you don't have any stitchy friends. You've got no one to talk to about what you've got up to. I think I've just put that in the wrong spot. So yeah, so it is good to do these kind of videos. I mean, it would be good if there was some kind of interaction as well, but I know a lot of people are doing the live streaming of their Stitch with Me's, but for me to do a live streaming with you guys, I mean, because of the time difference, it's going to be either really late for you guys, i.e. early hours in the morning, or it's going to be really early for me, i.e. early hours in the morning. So I don't know how that would work unless I did one like first thing in the morning, because I know like when it's 10 o'clock in the morning here, I know one of the Zoom meetings that I go into, it's normally 5 o'clock over there, so that's in America. So I suppose it is a possibility, but I may look into doing the live one at some point, but as it stands at the moment, I think I need to get some more kind of equipment so that I can do something like that. I need to get a proper phone holder for starters, so that can go like, so I can film from behind me rather than in front of me, so then it would be easier to see what I'm doing as well. So that's probably going to be the next purchase thing on my list. Well, after some more fabric, of course. I need some more fabric so I can start my heights. So, as you know, I bought a couple of new ones. So I want to get them ones started. Well, there's a couple I want to get started. So I've asked where I get my stuff from for a price on 3 pieces of fabric. So they're working that one out for me. So there's 3 heights I want to start. So only the smaller ones. I've not decided to start one of the other supersized ones just yet. Although some of them I am really tempted, but I need to save it up a little bit first to get all the stuff for them ones. Well, hopefully it won't be too long. Mind you, saying that though, with everything going off at the moment, obviously trying to get stitching supplies is a little bit hard because everywhere obviously closed down. So you wouldn't think there was that many people out there that actually still do stitching, but there are a lot of people. So maybe not in certain countries, but I would say like in Australia, I mean, I don't know many people from Facebook or anything like that, or YouTube, that actually are from Australia that do actually stitch. So finding supplies over here is not super easy. I'm going to say all your stores that stock all craft stuff and that, they don't really have a large supply of cross-stitching stuff. So hence the reason I had to source mine online. And I'm glad I did, because obviously Janet, who I've been dealing with through JK Cross Stitching Supplies on Facebook, she's absolutely awesome. So she doesn't just send you a message saying thanks for your order and that's it. She'll send you a message on your order, and then she'll give you updates on the order, and then she'll ask you how you're doing. So she's an excellent person. So from what I understand as well, she's actually looking at opening a proper store. Now she lives down in New South Wales, so it's about an hour's drive for me, but it would be worth going down there just to have a chinwag with someone and maybe find somebody else to do stitching with. But I don't think she's going to be doing that until towards the end of the year or in the beginning of next year. Obviously, getting things set up at this time, a bit of a challenge for most people, let alone starting up a brand new store. So we'll see. Like I say, I know she's working really hard at the moment. She's getting all the supplies in. Like I say, they were delayed, so she's getting all those in at the moment. So she keeps posting pictures of what she's received and obviously catching up with any orders that she needs to get fulfilled. So hence the reason she wasn't taking any more new orders when I mentioned her last week in my YouTube video. But like I say, she has been posting that she sent out a fair few orders, so she's getting there. So she'll be taking new orders again soon. But everyone's been telling her to take a break for herself, because she's only one person who runs the whole thing. So she deals with all orders, ordering all the new stock that she needs. So she's a bit busy. I mean, the other day she posted that she was working 15 hours a day just to get caught up on everything. So that's taking delivery of her stock and then dispatching orders that she's got that were waiting for this stock coming in. So she's working really hard. So I agree with everybody else. You need to take a break. You can't just keep working and working and working, otherwise you burn yourself out. Especially doing 15 hours a day. I know when it's your own business, you generally do tend to work a bit more than normal, but you still need to give time for yourself. So hopefully she'll be back up and running again soon. As I say, she's sorting out for me for some fabric for my hides. I told her there's no rush. I'm not in a big hurry to start everything. I know how busy she is, so just told her when she's got the time just to work things out for me. So that's what she's going to do. So yeah, so as I say guys, if you've got any subjects that you want to talk about or anything like that, drop them in the comments and I'll go through those and I'll go through the topics and everything on my next Stitch With Me. And so I'm going to do that needleworker tag as well to get to know me a bit more. So we'll see how that goes. I've just got to find the email that I was sent it on. So yeah, so not a bad little bit of progress so far. We're at about 40 minutes-ish of Stitch With Me. I don't know how long you want me to do these Stitch With Me for, guys. I mean, do you want them to be like 40 minutes long? Do you want them to be a bit longer, or just let me know? Or shorter? Choice is yours. Just let me know if you want them to be a bit longer, then I'll start making those a bit longer for you. And generally with looking at everybody else's like Stitch With Me, some of them are like 30 minutes, some of them are up to an hour, some of them are longer than an hour. So you let me know what your ideal like time frame is. Would you prefer it just half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour? And if I think I can talk for an hour, then we will do an hour one. Well, it's not the talking for an hour. Let's find a subject to talk to for an hour. So I might start making a list of things I can talk to you about. Maybe that would help. When I see something on Facebook or something just pops up wherever, I'll note that down and then we've got more subjects to talk about. So, right, so that's the end of that bit. So right, so I'm going to leave it there then, guys. So it's going to be about a 40-45 minute video for you. So hopefully that's long enough. But as I say, yeah, drop any comments down below, and I'll get back to you on any answers or from any questions or whatever. And then so my next one already planned out of what I'm going to be working on, so that one will be next week. So and we'll leave that there because that's the end of that part that I was filling in. So yeah, so just let me know, guys, and we'll sort out some subjects for next week. Again, let me know if these are long enough or if you want them a bit longer. So I've just noticed there's been a stray cat hair there. It's the only thing with my house, you set things up and cats are inquisitive and like to come stick their nose in and then leave the hair everywhere. And that's the only downside as well, working on black. Everything shows up. So that's what we've got so far. Oops. Apart from me. I'm just trying to see if I can block out some of the light. So yeah, coming along. So as you can see, this is obviously going to be part of the column or something. And so that's going to be this part here, this window, or inlet part. So yeah, coming along nicely. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As I say, leave any comments down below and I'll answer those back. And I will catch you in my next video, which will be next weekend. And then my next Stitch With Me will be in a week's time. So thank you again for watching, much appreciated. Stay safe, happy stitching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Catch you later, guys. Bye bye.